Hello, everyone. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that I'm this so much in the shade right now. The sun is like in front of me, so I should be all lit up, but it is behind clouds and whatnot. So, yeah. Welcome to the Thursday live stream by the Lively Stream. It's still flowing. It's not super lively. Birds are still chirping. I have my dog just out here to my right, sniffing around, being all dog-like. Hopefully today's going good for you. My car's in the shop, so pray that that's not going to cost too much money. We were able to pay our rent and everything like that, but going into next month, questions start coming up, so we don't know how long all of this stuff's going to last, and it's going to have financial issues across the board, but we figured, you know what, we got the money, let's get the car done now. But that's one of the things I'm kind of praying for across the board. Small businesses especially are getting hit. Churches, a lot of non-denominationals, not-for-profits is what I was trying to say. But it's live. We're doing it live. So as we're worried about, kind of our spiritual health and stuff like that, and that's what this is about. We're still in the world, and having a love of money and focusing on money is definitely not a great thing, and it can get really disheartening. But remember to pray for it and lift it up to God. We don't know really what's around the corner, and it's that reminder that God is with us, and He is the gardener from yesterday. That stuck with me a lot yesterday. So with all that pre-ramble, I wasn't really expecting to do it. Sassy! Doug doesn't really want to come on this because it's a bunch of dead of this grass, and it cracks and it sounds weird, so she's just sitting there looking at me like, hey, why don't you come? My fence fell down, so I'm on the other side of the fence. Sassy! Hey, Sassy! But anyways, yeah. Hey, Rachel. I haven't really done the devotion yet today. I know I've been running. I rambled for a little bit. When I dropped off my car to get fixed, I made sure to grab Tim Hortons first, because I'm not an addict at all. There was some Facebook group thing going around. It's like, if you had to be addicted to drugs all your life or something else, and they're both really bad situations, they're like, which one would you choose? And I was like, is caffeine counted as a drug? And they're like, yep. I was like, cool, I'm taking that one, because that might be my current stance. It's April 3rd. So, hey, Matt, we're going to be reading the Jesus is Calling devotional for the day. Once again, it's kind of written as if Jesus is talking directly to you. Wow, a bunch of people are all of a sudden watching. Alex, welcome. It is a Bible study. That is the warning. It's the 3rd today, so we're going to read the devotion from the 3rd, and then kind of go on from there. And once again, when I say I do this or something in me, it's not me, it's supposed to be Jesus. All right. So, April 3rd from Jesus Calling. In me, you have everything. In me, you are complete. Your capacity to experience me is increasing through my removal of debris and clutter from your heart. As your yearning for me increases, other desires are gradually lessening. Since I am infinite and abundantly accessible to you, desire me above all else. Above all else is the best way to live. It is impossible for you to have a need that I cannot meet. After all, I created you and everything that is. The world is still my beck and call. at my beck and call, though it often appears otherwise. Do not be fooled by appearances. Things that are visible are brief and fleeting, while things that are visible are everlasting. And the Bible verses that that inspired this is Ephesians 3:20 to 21. Now, to who is able to who is due immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us, to bring him work that is within us. To him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus through all the generations, forever and ever. Amen. And if you had questions on whether or not I was dyslexic, there you go. Because I mixed up the be and him, and I was like, this isn't making sense. The other Bible verse that inspired that was 2 Corinthians 4:18. Since we consider and look not to things that are seen, but to things that are unseen. For the things that are visible, temporal, brief and fleeting. But the things that are visible are deathless and everlasting. Deathless and everlasting. So yeah, as I'm reading this, it's, as we grow in God, some of those other things that we talked about yesterday especially are kind of can be fleeting from us. And though I like this thing, the second paragraph, and I'm just going to reread it. It is impossible for you to have a need that I cannot meet. After all, I created you and everything that is. The world is still at my beck and call, though it often appears otherwise. Don't be fooled by appearances. Things that are often visible are brief and fleeting, while things that are invisible are everlasting. Yeah, I don't know. It just, there's like the whole idea of like beauty that's thrown in there as well, and so often the glitz and the glamour, the things that are eye-catching, we end up kind of striving towards, and we see and we grasp onto and we hold on to, but those things are like here today, gone tomorrow. And when it's so brief but we desire it so much, we really do sell ourselves short, because we sell ourselves something that is just, it really has no lasting value a lot of the times. It's like my wife Candace, she doesn't really like getting things for Christmas or for her birthday. She wants experiences, and that's kind of what that was talking about, right? Because that experience is going to last a lot longer, and it's going to give a lot more joy and happiness in the long run than a box of chocolates or some other generic gift that I end up figuring out. So those things that are invisible, things that aren't just flashy, here to grab your attention and suck you in, but the things that are a little bit more invisible, like God. A lot of people do things in order to grab your attention, and a lot of times the enemy will do stuff to shock you and give you that emotional response, where God's like, no, I want to walk with you throughout your whole life. So hey Carrie, hey Spencer. So yeah, that's what I got out of the little devotional for today. And I'm actually going to read two things out of my Bible today, but the first one, we're going to continue with the day of Proverbs with the proverb. And the birds chirping are really nice. So this was a really weird thing last night. I'd never heard this before. On my roof, there was a tussle going down, and I stepped outside and was like, I have no idea what these two animals are that are just causing havoc on my roof. It was too dark. I couldn't get light up there. But the second I tried to look, it all stopped. It was like, okay, what's going on? It was going on for like 10 minutes before I went outside. It was freaky. Hey, Nate. Anyways, yeah. Proverbs 3 today. And yeah, I am dyslexic, so I'm going to be reading this along. This one's a little bit of a longer one. there is a blue section that refers to the New Testament. So bear with me. My reading's not the best today. Especially, I was getting tongue-tied on really simple words. Hey, Ty. So, yeah. And Sassy's still there, still staring at me, looking around. Hey, Sassy! Sassy! Hey! Hey! We gave her a little bit of a haircut. Not that you could really tell that, but, you know. You don't need to see my crotch. All right. So, Proverbs 3. My child, never forget the things I have taught you. Store my commands in your heart. If you do this, you will live many years, and your life will be satisfying. This is the beginning of the blue section. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you will find favor with both God and people, and you will earn a good reputation. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. I had that kind of highlighted and broken down with the all thing. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek His will in all you do, and He will show you which path to take. So that refers to the New Testament from Luke 2:52. Jesus embodies these instructions as a child. He finds favor as a result. Jesus grew in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and all the people. All right, continuing Proverbs 3, starting at 7. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, fear the Lord and turn away from evil. Then you will have healing for your body and strength for your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. Then He will fill your barns with grain and your vats. I'll pause because that car is pretty loud. Vats will overflow with good wine. My child, don't reject God's discipline and don't be upset when He corrects you. For the Lord corrects those He loves. Just as a father corrects a child, corrects a child in whom he delights. Joyful is a person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing you desire can compare with her. She offers you long life in her right hand, and riches and honor in her left. She will guide you down delightful paths. All her ways are satisfying. Wisdom is a tree of life, those who embrace her. Happy are those who hold her tightly. But by wisdom the Lord founded the earth. By understanding He created the heavens. By His knowledge the deep fountains of the earth burst forth, and the dew settles beneath the night sky. My child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Hang on to them, for they will refresh your soul like a jewel on a necklace. They will keep you safe on your way, and your feet will not stumble. You can go to bed without fear. You will lie down and sleep soundly. You will not be afraid of sudden disaster or the destruction that comes upon the wicked. For the Lord is your security. He will keep your foot from being caught in a trap. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it when it's in your power to help them. If you can help your neighbor now, don't say, "Come back tomorrow and I'll help you. Then I'll help you." Don't plot harm against your neighbor, for those who live nearby trust you. Don't pick a fight without reason when no one has done you harm. Don't involve violent people or copy their ways. Such wicked people are detestable to the Lord, but He offers His friendship to the godly. The Lord curses the house of the wicked, but He blesses the home of the upright. The Lord mocks the mockers, but gracious to the humble. The wise inherit honor, but fools are put to shame. Oh, all right. There's a few things in that. One of the first things is, just kind of trusting on God and not leaning on our own understanding. But after that, it still says gain wisdom. Gain the wisdom of Christ, but wisdom in the world. There's this dichotomy that you can't believe in science and hospitals and stuff like that, where like the church is what actually started a lot of that. Right now, in our world, the head of the Human Genome Project is an outspoken Christian, and science and Christianity doesn't need to be adversaries. Yet, for some reason, we've made it that way, and it doesn't need to be. The Bible says, seek wisdom. What is science? It's seeking wisdom. So I think the two go together a lot better than people think. And it's when it's made into adversaries where we stop seeking wisdom, or we seek just earthly wisdom. We need to combine earthly wisdom with godly wisdom. And that's how we can move forward. Godly wisdom and earthly wisdom together. They don't have to be enemies. They weren't enemies for the longest time. They worked together. The Nobel Peace Prize, I think it's 65% of Nobel Peace Prize winners are they're openly Christian. It's hard to be openly Christian in the science world today. Just there's so much stigma around it, and I don't get it. I really don't. So lean not on our own understanding, but lean on God's. So lean on God, but still seek wisdom. That's one of the big things I got from there. One of the other things I'm going to get to, but my child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Hang on to them. So as we're leaning on God's wisdom, we can still keep common sense. For the Lord is your security. Yeah, and that's actually somewhere where I'm going to go, and I did not plan this out. So hold on to that, Nicole. They will keep you safe. You will not stumble. You will go to bed without fear. You will not lie down. You will lie down and sleep soundly, which is awesome. There's a story that came up. If you can help your neighbor, don't say, come back tomorrow, and then I'll help you. When this place was all flooded, my neighbor was really quick to help me. And through that's one of the things, Corey and Laurie, I'm so thankful for them. But now anytime there's like a fear of that, we have each other's backs. And they're like, hey, can you go and do this? Like, hey, can you do this? I think I left my door unlocked. And trust has kind of built up between both of us. And it was sadly not from me taking that first step, but it was from my neighbor taking the first step. But trust and love and all of that has now all been built in, which, it's awesome. Sometimes pride, like, oh, I wanted to make the first move, but you know what? It's accepting the first move from other people too. There's a thing in here that I'm going to confess. I'm going to confess to all of you guys too. Don't pick a fight without reason when no one has done harm to you. I did that the other day. Hey, Scott. It's always good to have someone's back. Indeed, right? That's something that's kind of in all of us, and the Bible lifts that kind of attitude up. So, confession time. I heard that this one university was like, hey, if you're in a third world country and their hospitals and stuff like that aren't equipped to deal with COVID-19, then get back home. And they used the U.S. as an example, and I was like, no. And I went and I checked it out. They changed the post, but people were commenting, and this one guy was like, yeah, we're number one, like bar none. And I was like, dude, you're the laughingstock of the world. But I entered myself into this conversation. I started this fight without needing to be started in this fight. And I find Facebook is a great way of injecting yourself into it and having these verbal and textual conversations and debates, but they aren't debates. They're just arguments and fights that are needless. They're not doing any harm to me. You have your own opinion, and I can still accept you, even though as a friend, as a neighbor, as whatever, even if we have different opinions. So why are we having the fight about it? Why am I being intentionally manipulative or intentionally aggressive because you have a different understanding of things? God has given us the right to be able to have our own opinions and to be able to do a lot of the things, and we can guide and direct people back, but we can do it in a loving way. We don't have to be so aggressive and my way's the only way and you have to trust everything that I say, as I'm saying that, and no one can really say anything back. Hey, you know what? I miss having you around too. I'm glad that you can join us for this. So the other part of the Bible that I wanted to read today, and remember, if you have anything that you want or anything that you see online, especially since like Bible verses are being thrown out of context all over the place, feel free to drop me a private message or leave a comment. I've been going through the comments afterwards just to kind of see what's said, because I miss a lot of them. Because one, it's a little bit hard to see on my phone with being outside and there's a lot of glare and stuff. And when I'm reading, I'm not looking at the screen. So I do read the comments afterwards. But this is the section that kind of got brought up to me. It's John. This is the wrong section. Oh yeah. John 16 verse 32. So John 16:32. But, this is Jesus talking, the time is coming, and indeed it's now here, when you will be scattered. Each will go his own way, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. So, this has actually been, I don't know what translation, but the one that was kind of going around is, the time is coming, and it is indeed here, well, you'll be scattered, and each will go to his own home. Not his own way, but his own home. And it's like, see, the Bible knew what was going on, and it said that it's coming in, like, all that, and that they just kind of stop there. They don't even finish the verse, necessarily. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. So, and to put this into context, this is Jesus talking to his disciples about him getting captured, him dying on the cross. That's what this is about. That's what Easter's about. And heading up to this, throughout John 16, like the little section here is sadness will be turned to joy. I was gonna not read it, but I can read it. I'll read it right after I kind of give my point, because there was a point that I wanted to make, and it actually, because I was like, holy cow, this relates back to the old section. Hey Bert, yeah, even today he definitely is, and this is like a sign of that, encouraging some of his believers, and also inviting people that aren't followers to hear a little bit about his word and what some followers think, right? Going back to Proverbs 3, and Nicole pointed this out earlier on in the chats there, that 3:26, for the Lord is your security, he will keep your foot from being caught in a trap. And the whole, like, God being our safety and our discernment and stuff like that there. The next verse in John 16 that they'll all be scattered and go to their own home, after he's just told them a giant list of all these bad things that are probably going to happen, like, I'm not going to be with you anymore. They're like, what are you talking about? You're talking about your own death. What's going on? And so this is a very sad thing, and we can get just inundated with bad news when we watch the news. The news is still really difficult to watch because it's so emotionally manipulating. And Jesus went through a time where he didn't ignore what was bad and what was going on around him and what was going to happen, because he knew that. So he wasn't ignoring it. He addressed it. And he's like, yeah, so here's this other really bad thing. You're all going to be scattered. You're all going to go your own way. You're all going to go to your own homes. You're going to be scattered. I've told you that all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart. I have overcome the world. So, in this time that we're in right now, when we're watching the news, we're watching all of this stuff, we have a choice to escape into ourselves, escape into service, escape into this, that, the other. But when we hear all that's going on, even though sometimes it seems to defy logic, we can turn to God. So I'm going to read verse 33 again, and then just because, just don't take my word for it, it's been a while since I read it. It just kind of came to my attention, so I was like, you know what, I'll look it up, and then I'll read it during the live stream. But this is actually me reading it for the first time. So I don't do a whole lot of prep work for this. I just kind of come out and I read, and whatever happens, happens. It's live. We're doing it live! Anyways, sorry for anyone who's listening to this on headphones. So I've told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth, you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me, in Jesus, here on this earth, while we're still alive. We will have many trials and sorrows. We will have troubles. We will. That's a promise from God. We will have problems. Things are going to get tough. But we can still find peace in Jesus, because we can take heart, because he has overcome the world. Anxiety, depression. Some people will point at this verse and be like, so what? You're going through this hard time. So what? You're going through that. God's greater. He doesn't say that he's going to take away the trouble, but he says that we can have confidence and trust in him, that he will help carry the burdens of today. In another verse, when you put it all together, and we can take heart. We can know that he's there, and maybe that'll help you through some of your depression, some of your anxiety. And you know, the internet's connecting us, the Holy Spirit's connecting us. So anyways, I'm going to go back and read John 16, starting at 16, just to see if I am talking out of my own butt. And then I'll pray, and then I guess we'll be done. Hey, Dylan and Luke, thank you for joining. I took a sip of my coffee, and the page changed. So, going back. Okay. In a while, 16:16. John 16:16. In a little while, you won't see me anymore. But a little while after that, you will see me again. Some of the disciples asked each other, what does this mean? When he says, in a little while, you won't see me, but then you will see me. And I am going to the Father. And what does he mean by a little while? We don't understand. Jesus realized they wanted to ask about it. So he said, you are asking yourselves what I meant. I said, in a little while you won't see me, but in a little while after that you will see me again. I tell you the truth. You will weep and mourn over what is going to happen to me. But the world will rejoice. You will grieve, but your grief will suddenly turn into wonderful joy. It will be like a woman suffering the pains of labor when her child is born. Her anguish gives way to joy because she was brought a new baby into the world. So you have sorrow now, but I will see you again. Then you will rejoice, and no one can rob you of that joy. At that time, you won't need to ask me for anything. I tell you the truth. You will ask the Father directly, and he will grant your request because you use my name. You have done this before, asking, ask using my name, and you will receive, and you will have abundant joy. I have spoken of these matters in figures of speech, but soon I will stop speaking figuratively and will tell you plainly all about the Father. Then you will ask in my name. I'm not saying I will ask the Father on your behalf, for the Father himself loves you dearly because you love me, and because I come from God. Yes, I came from the Father into the world. Now I will leave the world and return to the Father. His disciples said, at least you are speaking plainly and not figuratively. Now we understand that you know everything, and there's no need to question you. From this, we believe that you came from God. Jesus asked, do you finally believe? But the time is coming. Indeed, it is here now, when you will be scattered, each going his own way, leaving me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. I have told you all these things so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart, because I have overcome the world. I'm going to plug my current favorite movie, Jojo Rabbit, because while we were reading that, I was reminded of one of the big things in there. No one feeling lasts forever. When you are down, there is hope that joy will be here tomorrow. And God being the gardener from yesterday's talk is still something very much that I'm thinking about. But yeah, take heart. God has overcome the world. And for those that are taking this self-isolation, this break difficultly, remember, this is not going to be lasting forever. Hey, Jordan, this isn't your forever normal. This is just the current normal. This is a time when we are all scattered. And a lot of the disciples got fearful and ran away from God, but he still welcomed them back. Jesus appeared to them after he died and kind of went out of his way for, I want to say Peter, to understand that, like, yes, even though you denied me 3 times, you're redeemed. I forgive you. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh yeah, forget about God during this time. I'm saying that because God's forgiveness, even in times of struggle, he understands our weakness and he loves us and helps us through that anyway. So yes, in this life we will have trouble, but we can take heart that he is here, and no one feeling lasts forever. This whole quarantine will pass. Hopefully the trust in our worldly scientists will help us get it through. But we also have to remember to balance worldly science with godly science and our wisdom. Earthly wisdom, godly wisdom. Godly wisdom, earthly wisdom. And when you have one without the other, I think things get a little unbalanced and a little out of the whack. But it's the church that started, hospitals and started schools, and that pursuit of earthly wisdom and godly wisdom should go a little bit hand in hand. So thank you today for joining me while I'm reading the Bible, while I'm reading the devotional, sharing a few of my thoughts, connecting with you guys in a small way. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate everyone that joins. I've gotten a lot of kind words, and really all I'm doing is I'm sitting down reading the book, and I'm throwing a camera on myself because I'm egotistical sometimes, even though I got this mug. Candace loves it. And it's an excuse to be outside, really. My desire to be outside with a purpose and still be social distancing or self... I don't like the self-isolation. I don't like that term. It's fun. So thank you everyone that joined even momentarily. Remember to leave a comment so I know that you were here. And especially if there's a Bible verse that you want me to kind of touch on and give my thoughts, my opinion on. I see the wisdom of God, and I appreciate the people in this world that are far smarter than me that are doing the science. I'm getting a phone call. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll call you back in a moment. But yeah, on that note, I'll pray for you guys down by the stream, and then I will say good day. So the live stream next to the Streamly stream, and John, I'll make sure that I got the Canadian flag kind of in shot there for you. All right. AJC, awesome Jesus Christ. I thank you that once again we could gather, that we could read the devotional for April 3rd, that I can sit out here next to the lively stream with this live stream. I lift up once again all of our emergency workers, all of our healthcare workers. I pray for masks and for safety and for the fear that's going on in our world. I pray that people can lean on you, and then that people lean on both your understanding but also the wisdom that your people kind of started to establish with establishing our, the school system, and with establishing the hospitals, and with establishing these things that help us out. I thank you that not being responsible, but caring and looking after our neighbors is something that you've asked us to do, and it's something that it's almost like a gut reaction. It's just something really easy to do. For our online stuff where we might just antagonize unintentionally or even intentionally, looking to get some sort of an emotional reaction or whatever it is that we're looking for, when it's kind of needless and it can be self-serving, Lord, I pray for forgiveness. And I thank you for promising that in this life we will have troubles, that we will have sorrows, that we will mourn, but that feeling is not going to last forever. That you can make our sorrow and our mourning into joy and happiness. And I lift up a lot of the people that are, I'm thinking about my mom. She can't get out of bed. She can't move. She needs other people to help her. And I thank you so much that there's even things that she can find joy for when so much of her physical life has been taken from her. But there's still joy to be had. I thank you for the birds that are chirping. I thank you that you are our security. And I pray that we can learn to love you and lean on you and grow with you while we are both in the world but not of the world. Thank you for being our King, our Father, and our Savior. So much more. No. All right, guys. I'm not drinking it, Spencer. Man, yeah, I'm glad that you did join, Scott. And if there's anything that you want me to cover, or even a message that you might remember from back when you were at the door, and you're like, you know what, that was really good, I want to hear that again. I'm not going to do it the same. One of the big things is I'm sitting down. So I had the thought today, and you guys can let me know if you like it, but I want to read the greatest sermon ever, but I can't sit down for it. I need to order, I guess, a tripod or something like that from, a phone clip for a tripod. I have a tripod, but I want to be able to move. So I might end up reading the best sermon. It's called the Sermon on the Mount, greatest sermon ever. I want to read it, and I want that to be one of the things. So I want to do that one of these times. That's one of my goals. I don't remember all the talks that we had, Scott, but I'll try to bring out a few. Easter is right around the corner, so I'm sure I'm going to come up with something for Easter. There's a lot of cool things that I've learned. But yeah, man, you're all awesome. thank you guys so much for joining, even if it was just for a minute. It is really encouraging. I'm shocked. The first one I did has like a ton of views. This is actually getting more views than the stuff that I planned and was acting more silly with the Hulk videos. Even though I still really like them and I want to do a couple more, I just don't really know how to keep it alive, how to do it. So if you guys have different ideas for the Hulk videos, if you don't know what I'm talking about, the Orangeville Door YouTube page, I put them all on there. There's testimonies, there's a bunch of fun videos. Scott, I even think there's a video of your time there. I still have that picture of your birthday when we were playing basketball in the back. We actually have now, like, we painted a basketball court there, and it's actually quite a bit better now. So but yeah, I do miss seeing all of your faces and doing silly things, whether it's playing board games or whatever. But thank you so much for joining me now. Even seeing the people that are popping up. Hi, April. It is encouraging. So let's keep this community going. Thank you guys for joining me for my personal Bible study that on Sunday I decided to share with you guys. It's actually making me read my Bible more, which is great. So thank you guys for encouraging my spiritual health personally, and hopefully it helps you guys out a little bit as well. Definitely willing to connect throughout the day, send me private messages, anything like that. I'm probably going to be playing some Jackbox games tonight as well, probably. For some reason it was laggy yesterday. I ended up buying Jackbox Party Pack 5 to play with everyone. So if you guys want to play some of that, feel free. I don't know, yesterday just kind of felt like it was a bit off, even though I was like really excited for it. When we sat down to play it, with it being laggy, it wasn't necessarily the best. But yeah, thank you very much once again. You are all awesome. Peace. Thank you. Oh yeah, and normally I'm shooting them around 11, sometime between 11 and noon. Today I woke up at 1, so it was a little bit later. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Sorry I don't have like I'm going to do it at this time. Days and times are kind of becoming something I'm not really using much anymore. The one thing I know is WrestleMania is tomorrow. So night 1 of night 2, and I'm so sad I can't share it with everyone. Normally I get a big group of people together and we'd watch it either at my house or at the door or at somewhere else's place, have a big old pizza party, and people that don't even like wrestling would join, and we'd have like 10 or so people to watch. So I'm going to be watching it alone, sitting on my butt. Candace might not even be watching it with me, so WrestleMania is going to be weird this year. You know what? That's the question I'm going to leave you with. What is one thing that you are still doing that you would normally do, but it's just weird now, and you're like, it's cool because it's the only time WrestleMania is going to be done live, but with nobody watching. Yeah, it's going to be weird. I'm going to try to appreciate it, but it's going to be so weird. Yeah, so if there's anything like that, leave it in the comments below. And if there's anything you want me to cover, let me know. All right, guys. Later. God bless.